welcome to Tabletop 24. I'm Alan.
John.
And we've got a lot more games on the table, but a lot more space at the minute. So this is my small box shelf with a few extra.
Everybody's got them.
Yeah. In a drawer, in a box somewhere. This is what we are going to class as our rapid fire round. Obviously, we are conscious that we do take quite a bit of time going through these. And given the fact there are probably more boxes on the table now than in any of the other videos, we're going to go as quick as we can.
Caveat this by saying I haven't played all of these. You have.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Not all of them, but yeah.
Okay.
So there'll be a couple in there which will just be sitting on there for the time being. So
okay. Crit.
I think it's a really nice little dice rolling game.
I'd agree.
Bit of auction, blind bid type thing.
Yeah.
And for the size of it.
Always welcome when that hits the table, I have to say.
Yeah, and it's short. It's very short.
Yeah.
It could do with an expansion now, though. I think we've played it enough that I'd like an expansion.
It feels like you just want a little bit more out of it at times, but yeah, not a bad game at all. Wouldn't be out of place in the Noit collection, kind of that sort of.
Yeah, that sort of size. So, okay, I'm going to start. I'm not going to put these ones on the floor because I'll be forever picking them up.
Entropy.
I really like it. It's multiple sort of blind action selection cards. If you both pick the same card, then you don't do anything unless you've got the token that breaks it, and you're all trying to pick up shards of your reality from a deck. It fills a void for me, so that one will stay.
Okay. Bullets. Teeth.
Bullets and teeth.
Teeth.
This was my early Kickstarter days. I think what the game's trying to do is really nice. I know Benji's got a copy of it as well, and for that, more than anything, this one's going to go. Right, that one will go on the floor.
Okay, Bears and Babies.
Bears vs Babies. Again, this was my very first Kickstarter. It's where the hobby started on that. It's really massively overproduced for what it is, with a fuzzy box. It's that party game, and this became my gamer version of Cards Against Humanity. Quite nice to sort of play. It's just silly, and it will stay around for that.
Echoes of Time.
Oh, so that is the story expansion to Entropy. So that'll stay.
Okay, Exploding Kittens.
I'm torn with this because
my son loves this.
It's a brilliant game, but I hate to keep saying this, but am I past it? How often am I going to play that? I think it might survive this Cull, but I don't think it will survive the next one. Ultimate Troll, episodes 1 and 2. I really like this, and I haven't played it enough yet, and I was hoping that we would get more of them. A nice little Australian publisher, Slinky Gibbon. The artwork is really nice. The gameplay is quite nice. It will stay around for that. And I think it's kind of flown under a lot of people's radars because of it. I might eventually condense this down into one box because it does annoy me that the boxes are different sizes. But other than that, I think it's great. So it will stay.
Pick the gold.
Gone. So this is
moving on.
It's plastic. No, it's plastic cards. So you can sort of play it in a lot of different places. It was I think it was a £9 Kickstarter whim, and Benji really likes it. He's got a version of it, but it's really light for it, so that is gone for me.
Okay. Disasters.
I struggle with this because I thought it was really good, but if you open it up, you are building a card or disaster with cards that size. So each one of these lays out an area on a board, and you're building up. And I think I need to play it a couple more times, but I don't think it's going to survive much longer than this one.
When you get board games and the cards are this size, my heart kind of sinks, and you just think, why didn't they just put the extra money in and build a full size deck of cards?
Yeah,
I'm looking at you, Ticket to Ride and Catan.
So that will stay.
Okay.
Dear Lord.
Dear Lord.
Dear Lord. It is literally Dear Lord. This was bought as a present. It's not actually come out of its box, and it's designed as a day experience whereby you've got a set of criteria that you can do, and you have to do it without other people realizing.
What's the other game that's like this that's come? Yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's light. It doesn't take up much space on the shelf. It will stay.
High Society.
Oh, absolutely. Because I know somebody that hates it, and I would like to bring it out every time I can. Not just you as well. So I think it's brilliant. The mechanic in it, whereby if whoever spent the most in the game, so it's an auction game, and whoever spent the most in the game automatically loses. It's a bit harsh on that player, but at the same time, it's really cleverly done.
I would rather stick plastic spoons in my eyes.
But no, it stays. I think it's really nice what it does.
I have a bad feeling about this. Is this a Star Wars game by any chance?
It's a Star Wars game, yeah. It just needs playing, I think, and I think it will go after a couple of plays. It was bought as a present. It was just an off the cuff purchase. I think it's very sort of Exploding Kittens-esque. So yeah, we'll give it a couple of plays and then it'll go.
Okie Diesel Demolition Derby.
Another Kickstarter. This tends to be a theme here. Robot Rally. Not Robot Rally, Robot Wars type mechanisms in there where you're fighting in arenas and stuff like that. It has got an expansion in there. It's going to go because it's not seen enough play. And there's other games I think I would rather get to the table, but I think it was really nice for what it was.
Love Letter.
Everyone's got to have a copy of Love Letter.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those staple games. This is the traditional Love Letter. You've got a customised version.
Customised Game of Thrones one.
Game of Thrones one. And there are others obviously out there. And yeah, I quite like it.
Yeah.
I might eventually get, I think, is it the Princess box?
Yeah.
Where you get all the other roles and stuff like that. I might eventually pick that up because I do like it, and for what it is, it's great. So that stays.
Cryptid, the card game.
Yeah, so the Cryptid Urban Legend. So it's still an abstract version of Cryptid. So this should be in the video previous to this where we decided. I can't remember. No, yeah, Cryptid
Yeah, we've done it. Yeah.
For that reason, the Cryptid went. This stays.
Okay.
This is the 2-player only version. But I like it does similar things and it's a bit abstractly puzzly. So
Okie dokie. Fort.
It's got the expansion in it, and we haven't played the expansion yet. This is a brilliant game.
Yeah, it's not for what it surprised me.
Yeah, I think Leader Games tends to do that with a lot of their games.
Yeah.
They tend to put a theme on it, and then you're like, oh, I'm not sure. It's brilliant. It works, and the theme of you draft friends. That are going to help you build your fort, your treehouse fort. And if you don't play with your friends, they're up for anybody to come along and
sort of join somebody else's game.
Yeah, and I think there's this bit where I'm going to take some pizza off you, or I think it fits the theme really, really well.
Yeah.
And you
need to keep an eye on what other people are doing, so you almost not you are hate drafting at some point, but could be to the detriment of what you're doing. So it's a lovely game.
Yeah, no, that stays.
Cool. Micro Brew.
I like this because I really like the publisher, and we both know the publisher as well. So I will be keeping this because I want to try it at 4 players. So there's 2 tins in there. A tin is a single 2-player game or solo. And you can play up to 4 people with 2 tins. So I will keep it because I want to play it at 4 players. I have only played it at 1 and 2. So we'll keep that for now, but I don't think it will survive the next one.
Deep Space 6.
Deep Space D6.
D6.
Yeah, it stays. It's what it does as a solo game is great. It keeps you with that spaceship theme, and yeah, it stays. It's a nice sort of half hour lost in a solo experience.
Good okay. Palm Island.
This is going to sit in my maybe pile. We haven't had a maybe pile in this new set.
No.
This has got plastic cards. It's fully designed to be played on a beach. You actually play the whole game in one hand. So you can either play 1 or 2 players, and you get resources on certain cards, so you turn them sideways in your hand. And you use those resources to flip cards, which then when you flip them, they give you better abilities. And you're essentially going to get the most points at the end of it. It's fantastic. And it's just not really seen the light of day.
As a lot of little games, again, they go in a box in a Kallax, and other things get put on top of them.
Yeah, so that will be a maybe.
Uncut, unstable unicorns.
So that goes with the normal version of it instead of unicorns. It's the expansion. I don't think I could fit. Yeah, no, I can't fit any more cards in here. I really, really like the artwork in Unstable Unicorns. It's from Tea Turtle. If you've ever seen any of their stuff, it's really sort of semi-whimsical, satirical animals and stuff like that. And Unstable Unicorns was I think it was their first Kickstarter, and it just blew up. Mainly because of the artwork. Now there is this. I think there is the NFSW version in here. Obviously, there's the uncut bit. There's the Dragons expansion.
Oh my!
But personally, you are looking for synergies in a deck of about 300 cards, and it's the first to 7. And there's a lot of hate in it. There's a lot of no, you're not doing that. And for me, I liked it, but I love the art. I absolutely love the art in it. But no, it's seen its day for me, unfortunately.
Okie dokie.
So that's this way.
They go that way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Just reach over. Excuse me. Saboteur.
Oh, an absolute stay. It's got a band box in it, so the tin doesn't break. You are playing dwarf miners, trying to either get the gold or force everybody to get the coal, and looking for potentially a saboteur in the mines. I think what it does is it's a party game because I think it plays up to 11. I think 10. So it plays up to 10 people. Really nice in that sort of. I think it fits that 6 to 8. So if you've got a group in for an evening and you're just having a chat and that, I think it's a really nice game. You find out who your friends are in it, type thing. So yeah, absolutely stays.
Okie dokie. Welcome to the dungeon. There's two different.
So welcome to and welcome back to. We played a lot of this at one point, and you're essentially building a deck for the dungeon by playing chicken.
Yeah.
So you're throwing cards in the dungeon in the idea that you don't go into the dungeon.
Yeah.
And so you can either throw really hard cards in and try and avoid going into the dungeon, or throw really easy cards and take the leap and go into the dungeon.
Yeah.
And you play different characters when you go. So you'll start off, for instance, with a cleric. I think it's a cleric. Or is it a paladin? And you'll know what the character is. So the paladin's the one going in, and then it's whether you want to bid for equipment or.
And you can put your cards in, and if somebody says I'm going in, you can screw them over by making the battle difficult for them as they go in.
Yeah, and you can potentially, if you go, I'm not going to put a card in this round, so I'm going to take away a piece of armor.
Yeah.
Or a piece of equipment, and I think it's really good. And I think both copies together, you can mix and match them a little bit, I suppose. There are some better synergies, and I really, really like it. But I just think I'm done with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a like they're originally on games, aren't they? It's the Dungeon of Mandem that they had, and there's about 8 or 9 of them that they put out. It's a lovely little push your luck game. I think my son probably would absolutely love these. If I'm honest with you, he can probably get a lot of it out of them. But yeah, it very light.
Yeah,
very, very light indeed.
So they'll go.
They'll go.
Yeah,
Get Antidote and Antidote Lab Alliance.
Yeah, so Antidote and Lab Alliance.
Good game, I think.
I really, really like Antidote. We've played it, but we've never played Lab Alliance.
No.
Because essentially, Antidote is a deduction game whereby you have a hand of cards, and one of the cards in the middle of the table is the antidote, and essentially, at the end of the game, the person with the highest number of that card wins. You'll get to know what numbers are going round, whether it's good, whether it's bad. You can pick up other people's cards that they might have discarded. But each round, you are losing cards out of your hand. And you essentially get left with one, and you either take the antidote or not. Base game, absolutely fantastic. There are a couple of modules in there that change it up a little bit. But Lab Alliance added about, I think, 5 more different expansions to it. And again, it sits in that 3 to 9 players with these, and 2 to 7 in the base, and it sits really well in that 6-player arena.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those games that thrives from more players. Unfortunately, post-COVID, we've not had a games night where there's been more than 4 of
It's
us.
probably suffered a bit from that. Good interaction between people, lots of chat, lots of what's going on. I like Antidote a lot.
Yeah, so Antidote will stay, but I'm going to dwell on Lab Alliance a little bit.
I think it needs to be played.
Yeah, and I think the thing is we've never really played it because there's the team variants and stuff like that, and it benefits from people having played the game before.
Yeah.
And if you've not played the game before, then we start with Antidote.
And can I just say what winds me up? You've got the boxes. Literally every single one is the wrong way up.
Yeah, but that's normally because it's you that puts them back.
Oh, shut up. Smitten.
So we haven't played this yet. This is the 10th anniversary of Stonemaier Games game, and it answered by Vincent Dutray, and it covers all of the most of the Stonemaier games in a piece of art that you're trying to play cooperatively with somebody else. That will obviously stay because it's not been played yet, but it's a nice little thing to pick up.
Let's get this right. A game about quickly grabbing creatures that are totally different and watching out for turnips.
And counting your beetroots. So, same game. This is from Bez and stuff by Bez. That's really sort of makes these really whimsical art, all designed by Bez themselves. And yeah, we were lucky enough to pick these ones up. I think we got these from UKGE from Bez rather than Aircon, so we've met Bez a couple of times. And there's really great work in the community with board games as such. Really got some nice ideas for games, and these little sort of bargain packs that they do is lovely. And these will stay around because we still need to play these and do a playthrough of them. But essentially, you're grabbing cards that match them and don't match, and looking out for not picking up too many beetroots as you go through. So they will stick around.
That one in the back.
This one, Cauldron Master. This was one of Alley Cat Games' first productions. And obviously people will know Alley Cat from things like Tinner's Trail, Chocolate Factory, Dice Hospital, those games. This is one of their first ones. It's a bog standard set collection game. You're making potions in a cauldron. Different potions will require different items, and it's bog standard set collection. It was probably backed because it was quite cheap when I got it, and I've had some good times with it, but it's just sitting on the shelf now, so that is gonna go.
Supernatural Socks and
Mutant Crops.
Are these by the same people?
Yeah, they are by the same people. They are number 1 and 2 in the Atheris Games set. I don't think we've had any more from Atheris. I liked Mutant Crops, and I backed Supernatural Socks, and I know there's a few people that do like it. I think I'm the wrong target audience for them. I think it's designed for a slightly younger audience. And with that in mind, these aren't going to stick around. One's a worker placement game, and one's a sort of drafting mechanic, I believe, in the Supernatural Socks, so they will be going.
Gladius.
I like Gladius. I didn't think I was going to. I like the artwork and I like the production value in it, but I didn't think I was going to like the gameplay. We've played it a few times now, and it's got that auction, blind auction mechanic where you're bidding on gladiators in the arena based on their attributes and the current sort of round that you're in, the event you're in, and you're blindly putting cards down, whether you're buffing them or hurting them, and then you're bidding on gladiators each round, and you'll get points for if they win and points if they lose, and points will depend upon what coins you put on there. So I like it. I think it does that quite well.
Yeah, really it's not a bad game, but light.
Yeah, very light.
Yeah.
But it's, again, this is one of those type of filler games that's just a little bit different. So that will stay.
The Crew, Mission Deep Sea.
I mean, the amount we've played it, it's going to stay around. So you've got The Crew.
Yeah.
And I've got Mission Deep Sea. They're slightly different, pretty much the same game. I think Mission Deep Sea is the more refined version of the two.
I think you're right.
And I will keep it. We've not completed all the missions, and it'll come back to Aircon with us next year.
Yeah, we'll probably,
and we'll probably try and crack out the rest of that.
Yeah, when it gets to midnight, this just. But then it gets to a round where you get stuck on. It's just like not again.
So this firmly stays. I think what the crew does is great. I wouldn't own both of them.
I don't think I would. But it does get to that point where one person just isn't getting it. It's just like playing these cards again. Manhattan Project.
Chain reaction. So this was picked up because I wanted to get Manhattan Project either 1 or 2, and at the time I couldn't afford it, and this was the cheaper alternative. So you are creating an atomic bomb from blueprints and using your engines to get it, and the cards that you've got will be giving you workers, different types of work and stuff like that. It doesn't get played enough, but I play it solo.
It's a good game.
For the size it is a really good game.
It is a good game. I do like that, I have to say.
So we stayed.
Right, shall we do the mint works?
Let's do the mint tins. Let me start by saying mint works and mint delivery are really clever at what they're trying to do. Mint cooperative goes downhill. And I think mint control and mint bid, I haven't even played mint bid yet, and I don't think I will.
I think mint delivery is an efficiency game where you've got to do the task in this shortest amount, and if you don't get grass back, you can come very last in it.
Mintworks is really good. It's an engine building, tableau building, and I liked it, and that's where all this started. And it started to come from a bit of a collector thing of I've got this one, I want them all. And I think possibly what's done this nailing the sort of coffin for this one is that they didn't release the last 1 or 2 in Europe because of shipping issues. Now I get the shipping issues, and I get that the shipping crisis that was massive and shipping costs are still quite high, but there was no option. There was no way we could get it over here. So I think for me, I've lost faith in the publisher for that. I think these are going to go. I want to play Control and Bid and get them out of the way just to say I've actually played them. But they will be disappearing. Unfortunate, because they are really, again, nicely produced little tins.
So hidden at the back here.
We're not going to talk about this one, are we?
Stays.
I don't even have a choice on that. But you've got your own copy as well. Yeah. Scout, fantastic. Don't know what play again on this.
Yeah. So gotta love a Noit game. And you're saying about the mint collection, I'm getting that way about Oink and thinking I need to have everyone they've done, and I just stop. And
in fairness to Oink, not all of their games are good.
No, and that's what I pull back, and then I look again, and I pull back, and now that they've got the distribution in the UK, I'm just getting tracked towards them again. But there you go. Bristol.
So
1350.
We will have seen our other in the Dark Cities anthology. I haven't actually played this one because, again, it's arrived just before lockdown, and it benefits from 5+ players. You can play it, I think, at 3 and 4, but it does really benefit at 5+ players. Fantastically produced. I'm going to say this about a lot of games, but this whole idea of a game in a book, and you can just about see here is the other 3. They just look like books on a shelf.
Yeah. Why haven't we got those on the table?
Because those ones were out in an earlier video. This is because I haven't played this one.
Okay.
So, yeah, I haven't played it yet, but it will be staying, I think, what they've done. I don't think they've made a bad game yet. I've got my favourites, but
some of them I think are better than others, and some of them I think aren't that good at all. I'll be very honest with you. I'd be interested to see how this one plays.
Yeah.
But there are some of the games where you can sit there and you can do nothing for an hour and a half while other people are doing stuff around you. I find.
Yeah, and I think so. For me, it's really clear. Up until Bristol come out, and I've not played Bristol yet. It goes Tortuga, then Deadwood, then Salem for me.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. Supercar Express, the card game.
Yeah, so you mentioned this one in our other video, and I think I may have even mentioned it when we did the Cult Express and the Cull. I think there will come a time where this or Cult Express goes.
Yeah.
This does everything that Cult Express does, but does it in a shorter time span with less table presence. And sometimes you want that table presence, but I think it might come down to the fact that I can't fit another box on the shelf.
Yeah.
For me personally.
But for me, for the sheer fact that it's a train that you put on the table and you play on the train, and it's a Dex game more than it's an actual board game, I think I'd probably keep the other version. I've got a copy of this, but I think I'd get if I wanted to play Cottage Express, I'd get the board game, I'd get it out and put it out on the table.
Yeah, I think this is a suitcase game.
Yeah.
One of those that you would take on holiday if you were looking to play games on holiday.
See, I would put Scout and Deep Sea Adventure in my suitcase.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I definitely put Scout in there, but I think this does everything that Cull Express does.
It's just a card game. They've slimmed it down to that. Point Salad.
I don't want this one anymore. I want the Eevee one.
I'd love that. I'd love that.
I like Point Salad.
I like it.
It's a maths game essentially. You are drafting cards to either give you vegetables in your board or getting them to do the points value on the back of them. So you're just trying to outscore everybody. It literally is a point salad because you're getting points everywhere. Mm-hmm. This box isn't upside down.
It reminds me of Sushi Go Party, in a way, and I think Sushi Go Party does that better. But there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No, and the difference obviously between those two is that Sushi Go you are drafting out of a blind hand, whereas this is all on the table, and you either take 2 vegetables or you take a points card every turn, and that's what you do until the deck's run out. I think it's brilliant for what it does. Maybe next time round this might not make a cut, but I think for what it is, it's a really nice little game. But if I could get the Eevee version,
I would have that as well.
So that's
little chance of that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Dwarfs Fall.
So Dwarfs Fall was picked up for a bit of a bargain price at UKGE. I think I picked it up with the pack with the expansions, the playmat, and everything for like 20-25 quid. I've known that the games were supposed to be quite good overall. There's a few of them now. I haven't played this one, which is quite sad really. But I think other games have come along in the meantime for it. It's going to go for me, and I haven't even played it yet, and that's really bad. But if I've not played it by now, I think it's been sitting around for 2 years. I think somebody else would get better value out of it.
Yep.
So unfortunately, that one is going to go.
Okay. Problem
Picnic. Attack of the Ants. Right. We said a little while ago, what was it? The Mutant Crops and Supernatural Socks was a bit under my age range. This is definitely under my age range because it is by Kids Table Board Gaming, who do some wonderful games. It's a dex game where you're rolling different size ant dice onto bits of food on a board. So the winner with the person with the most ants showing on their dice on a piece of food wins it, and then you're collecting pieces of food to score points.
Okay.
It's really nice. It was whimsical when I bought it for sort of family games. I like what it does. I will keep it for that. It's a small footprint box. I think it's a nice little game for potentially if you've got people around with families and stuff like that. So it will stay for that.
Donut drive-through.
I waited so long to get this, and I played. It is a Kickstarter, but I didn't get it from the Kickstarter. A friend of mine had it on a Kickstarter, and we played it, loved it. It's worker placement or donut placement in order to get donuts that score you the most points. First to 5 ends the game. The person with the most points on the donut wins. It's very simple, very quick. There is it can get very tough because in certain layouts of the game, at certain points in the game, you can just block somebody from playing.
We did that to you.
Yeah, and you just block somebody out of the game because they've got themselves into a hole that they can't get out of unless you free up a space. Yeah. Sometimes in certain player account, I think it was on the 3-player account. Yeah. People every turn you're not being able to place there. Yeah. And you just get blocked out of the game, which that is what it is.
Some games that's not. I don't think that's a lack of playtesting. I think some games are just designed that happen.
Yeah, and I genuinely think it's a rough worker placement game, but I love it. I think it's brilliant. And somebody got hold of this for me, and I haven't looked back since because it's really like it.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. Nice small little box. Grail Games. Whoa.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay, Mob, Big Apple.
Yeah, so this was on a bit where we got a few 2-player games, and it was a Kickstarter.
That's the right way around.
It was a reasonably priced Kickstarter as well, and I was like, oh, let's go in for it. And then TGG Games put a lot of effort into the production of this. It's got little wooden crates that are actually wooden crates, poker chips in there.
Very, very nice.
And you're putting mobsters down to fight each other for area control, and you've also got some spies out there as well that may or may not get revealed as the game goes on, which could turn the whole tide of the areas that you're going to get. So it played really, really well.
I think all the games we played with this, each game's been decided by a point. It's really tight. It really is very tight game. Lovely playing, lovely production.
Yeah, even if you feel like you're behind, you're not actually.
No, you're not
behind.
You're not.
So it's yeah.
And then again, if you think you were out front, you really aren't that far out front. It's good.
It's a 2-player game that I will keep.
Yeah.
Stays.
Villagers and Streets.
So Sinister Fish and the Harkon trilogy, and so we're waiting for Moon. Moon will be arriving next year, and so slowly, what will be next? Galaxy, maybe if you do the 4th. I've not played Villagers enough. Villagers is a tableau builder with a little bit of drafting in it, or market purchasing, and Streets is tile placement with looking for synergies in the tiles that you place.
Yep.
I think that they're very different games.
And that's to their benefit, I think. There could have been a danger when you get two things that look so alike and have such brand presence that they could be a century in that they're similar games, but they're so very different.
I was just going to say that we obviously looked at the Century games last night, and they're going from the collection, and actually, these are so different.
Yeah.
They're thematically similar in the artwork and the colouring and stuff like that. But the actual mechanics of the game is completely different. And Moon is completely different again.
Yeah.
So some really nice design from Harkon, and I think Sinister Fish have done well with the trilogy.
Yeah.
They are staying, they're not going. So we got rid of a few more in that one.
That's good. Big pile gone through.
Yeah, a big pile of a lot of small games. So I think maybe the next video might be our last.
Yeah. And I think let's put a count up somewhere of how many games so far you've got rid of through the video.
It won't be enough.
No, but you can have we've got rid of 12 games or so by this point.
Yeah. So, okay, thank you for watching along for this. If you've managed to stick with us to the end, appreciate it.
Doing well.
Appreciate this is a very long series. If you haven't done so already, check out our other videos on the channel. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we will catch you next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.